Good evening, folks. Hope you're well. Here we are, another video. Thanks for the support and the kind comments, and keep them rolling. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe. Just subscribe, and I'll subscribe to you if you have a channel too. A bit of back scratching goes a long way. It's one of my loves in my life that I enjoy my back being scratched. Ask my wife. I drive her mad. I've even gone so far, quite frankly, as having to now resort to a back scratcher. Yes, when she gets tired and fed up of me after a long day. There we are. So, yes, it's a heavenly thing, isn't it, to scratch the itch you can't quite reach. And so many of us are trying to do this in our lives, aren't we? We have an itch. It can be anything, this itch. It can be the car you want, the house you want, the job you want, the friendship, the boyfriend or girlfriend you want to meet up with or get introduced to. We all have these itches, don't we? Life's just one big itch. Itch, not bitch. The topic this evening, folks, really is, why do we put on this public persona? And it's true, we all wear this mask. And very often, some of the most ugly people are the prettiest. Isn't that a contradiction? I've discovered this in my life too. In many times I've approached women and beautiful girls in my life, only to find out that beauty is only skin deep. Because by the time you get to know them, you can see the flaws in their character. And yet these people cruise through life, reliant upon their good looks to get them in. But ultimately, and I love Shakespeare, he said the truth will out. And you often wonder why. Not that I look a lot, but you wonder why a lot of pretty people are single. My God, she's on the market. Or, my God, a handsome hunk like him, if you're a woman, and he's still available. I can't believe he hasn't got a girlfriend. Or he has so many girlfriends. Oh, yes, he's playing the field. No, he's playing the field because he hasn't got the character to keep one. You see, because it's a little bit like the pitcher plant, isn't it? It puts out this lovely aroma to a fly. The fly gets into the pitcher plant to go and gets attracted by the pitcher plant like a funnel, and it goes in and it gets beguiled into, or attracted into the centre of the plant by this lovely aroma, lovely personality of this plant, and it slips and falls into the digestive juices inside this plant, which kill the fly, and it eats it. It digests the bits. So many people are like pitcher plants. They suck you in, and often confidence tricksters do this, don't they, with their wonderful charisma, and oh yes, but it's all window dressing, isn't it? Because the sociopaths inside the pretty package is doing just what it needs to do. It's all, as they say in the past, it's all kippers and curtains, isn't it? It's all window dressing. Excuse me. And what I hope to achieve in this video really is to perhaps encourage you to try and be a little bit different. They do say if you don't like something about yourself, change something about yourself. Maybe you're underconfident, maybe you're overconfident. Maybe you don't have much luck, in the relationship department, or the interpersonal skills are a little bit lacking. You're perhaps too abrupt, or you're too sweet and too polite, and you seem to attract the wrong types into your life. Not that I'm a guru, but I've just been there and got the t-shirt a few times. And you've got to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince. The same can go for women, of course. You've got to find it, because it's all very well going for the beauties, folks, but beauty truly is skin deep. I would rather live with some woman who's not exactly a drop-dead gorgeous babe, but one who is presentable and has talent in other ways. Maybe she plays the piano or the guitar and she can sing, or something that's got to attract me other than looks. Because looks don't last and dumb is forever. Or not dumb is forever, horrible is forever, because you simply cannot change people. A lot of people get into relationships that, oh, I'll soon change him, or I'll get her to change her ways. A few months with me, I'll sort her out. And it never happens. She ends up sorting him out. Usually financially. Oh yeah, baby. This is what we're up against, isn't it? But we all have this persona. And you'll often find that people in relationships, in my experience anyway, and I've had my fair share of the fairer sex before I got married, of course. And I have to mix with in-laws and things, and I watch their relationships going on and off and on and off, And you can see common threads of the unhappiness and why it was caused, and you can see a disaster. You think even when you're at the wedding, this isn't gonna last. You just know it, because on the outside you can observe the signs and symptoms of pending disaster. If only the fool would wake up to realize her main objective in life is to capture him like a spider catches a fly and just breed so she can stop work and be a lazy slob and just parasite. And I'm sure you know people like this. That's their sole goal for many. And it's a lot of this is also the same reciprocal really for men. Some men just don't want a wife or best friend. And if your wife or husband isn't your best friend, you're in trouble. That's for sure. Because that means they think more of their friends and they treat their friends better than they treat their wives or husbands. And that's really dangerous, because that breeds resentment. And very often it's quite sad to see that couples who are together are just going through the motions. He does his thing and she does her thing, and it's not a nice relationship to spend your life in doing that, is it? Maybe if you have two lounges, one goes into one lounge, the other goes into the other, or the dining room, and they're just passing ships in the night, and they're living off each other's convenience, and that's what it amounts to. It's destined for the rocks, isn't it? But how many times do you do things, I'm talking to, how many times do you do things to impress other people? How many times do you comb your hair or make your hair nice and put the nice clothes on just to go shopping? When, to be honest, all you want to do is go in your pajamas, as you are, and just go and get the bloody shopping and come home again. Well, the question is, why don't you? Who are you trying to impress? Why do we do these stupid things that why do we dress socially? Why do we act socially? Why do we treat total strangers in a better way than we treat those we purportedly love? And that's always fascinated me, that question. And I've always been conscious of it, because I'm super sensitive to such things. And it irritates the hell out of me if I find that the woman I love or my children would often historically, in the beginning, treat total strangers or speak to total strangers in a way that I would think I could only dream of them speaking to me like that or treating me like that, but they don't. They treat me with such contempt, but it's a common hazard in human relationships. We're often more polite to total strangers than we are to the ones we reckon we love. And it's something we've got to cut it out. In Holland, where I was at university in Maastricht for a while, for a good 4 years of happy times, the Dutch have this thing where you have to leave your shoes at the front door, and everything about the outside world at your front door, and kick your shoes off and go in the home. And the home then becomes your area for you to be a recluse and enjoy family life and keep all your troubles of the world outside of the home, within your shoes. And then only when you step back into your shoes do you assume the world. And there seems to be this wonderful relationship. I've always found Dutch people to be very amenable and very family orientated, but rather strange that we are all geared towards image. Everything is about the image. Pop stars will tell you this, film stars will tell you this, and the general public will tell you this. When you hear statements like, "I wouldn't be seen dead driving that." Why not? I wouldn't be seen dead with him or her. Why? What does it matter? You see, if you love the person and they love you back, what does it matter what other people think? Why should it matter to you what other people think about you? Because the only time you're ever going to be free, folks, is when you don't give a rip what other people think about you. Why should you? Because you can guarantee that they don't give a rip what you think about them, but they think you do, or they want you to think. It's all about status, this horrible word with status, isn't it? Buying things is often like that, buying things that you can't afford with money you haven't got to impress people you don't even know or like. We have to grow out of this nonsense before it's too late, because it can make you broke and you'll achieve nothing. So, I'm not going to labour the point, but why don't you try doing something different just for once and see? Try being super nice to the ones you love in your house. Try and be very courteous and do little things and little favours. It's the little things that matter. The little things you say, or sometimes the things you don't say, that matter. Okay. In some cases, less is more. And don't do the 3 C's. Don't criticise, don't condemn, and don't complain about those you supposedly love. Don't do those 3 C's, because those 3 C's, criticism, condemnation, and complaining, will destroy any relationship, and it'll just breed resentment between you and others that are at the action end of your statements. But the moment you shut your front door when you go out, whether it's to work or go to do your thing, you have to put up this big shield. It's like a bubble around you. It's me, it's my self-image, and everybody, and nobody really knows. And you can get fooled by this, but the most delightful people you meet in the street are absolute sociopaths, and they are real bastards to live with. But you don't see that, and you can't understand why Betty down the road really does have a black eye. Maybe she's making it up. Did it herself, a bit of self-abuse, you know how it is. Because it can't possibly, he's such a nice chap. Or, I can't believe she's having an affair. She seems so loyal. Look at her. She's walking her 2 wonderful children to school. And, she's always saying how wonderful her husband is and how much she loves him, but she's having a fling. You can't believe it, can you? Because some people are master salespeople, men or women. They sell us the idea that they have this wonderful image that we build. And we're encouraged to build a positive image of those people we see by them. If only the truth be known. She might be beautiful, but she's a maniac to live with. She's uncontrollable. And I can't believe she's like that. She truly like that? Oh, absolutely. You wouldn't believe how difficult she is or he is to live with. A nightmare. I wish I hadn't bothered getting married. I wish I was never married to them. I'm too far down the line now to change, but if I had my time again... That's a sad statement, isn't it? If I had my time again, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go out with them. I wouldn't have married them. I wouldn't have had children. I wouldn't have bred with them. And this is what most people's lives are like, because there's very, very few people, quite frankly, out there who, if you really drill down, would say that they are truly, truly happy. And they have to put up this front. We can't all live in a life of ecstasy all 24/7. Of course, there's things that are going to irritate the hell out of us sometimes, and we've just got to get over it. But the one thing you've got to have is a home worth going to, full of people worth loving. And it's got to be reciprocal, hasn't it? You've got to get the same back. And if you're not, you're missing out. We have to be conscious all the time of those who take more than they give. And sadly, that seems to be the case, and that's why the divorce rates in the UK particularly going up and up and up, because it's bad enough keeping one person happy, i.e. yourself, but when you're forced to try and keep by the smile on your partner's face sometimes just to keep them happy, the game ain't worth a candle, to be honest with you. I would rather live in a caravan with somebody I love and who loves me, without having to buy a palace just to put a smile on their face in the vain hope that they'll give me a bit of what's left over of them. There's nothing like being used, is there? And sadly, a lot of people are users and abusers. Why is it we do things like this? We worry too much about what other people think about us. That's what we do. And that's the problem. I worry about the opinion of others. Why would you worry about the opinion of others? Because, and then you worry about people talking about you and saying evil things about you, untruths about you. So what? It doesn't matter, does it? It truly doesn't. You might not like it, but it doesn't matter. Because you know the truth. As long as you know the truth, it doesn't matter. I don't care, personally. That's when you're free. When you stop worrying about what other people think about you, you're free. That's it. It's true, isn't it? Stop worrying what other... And if you only knew how little people talk about you, you wouldn't be concerned about it. Because people have other things to talk about rather than you. But sadly, most people get paranoid and they're talking about me. I know they don't like me, the bastards. They won't even let me in the club. Maybe. But I think it was Groucho Marx. He doesn't want to join a club that would have him as a member anyway. Because we all know our dirty little peccadillos inside our head, although we're not going to talk about them. Would I want to join a club that would have me as a member? Well, it's all about self-respect, innit? That's what it amounts to. But try doing things differently. Okay? That's always the excitement. Make your mundane life, if it is that way in your mind, exciting. In the UK of late, well, certainly in the last 20 years I've noticed, people don't say good morning to one another anymore when they pass each other in the street when they're getting the Sunday newspaper, maybe. They don't. They just put their head down. Oof, don't want to talk. They look everywhere, but they don't want eye contact, and they just walk past each other. And if you watch some old historical films about Great Britain, for example, people were very, morning, how are you? Yeah, and they'll stop and they'll spend a minute talking, and how are the children, and yada, yada, yada. And it's all about social intercourse, isn't it? But now we shuffle back to the safety of our home and shut the door from the evil world outside. And this is why we're all in our little boxes, all made of ticky-tack. And they all look just the same. We lock our doors, we bolt our doors, and we shut the windows, lockable windows, and heaven forbid anybody knocks on the door after 7 o'clock in the evening. It's like, who's that? Who's that? And we're all scared shitless, aren't we? And the reality is, really, is that it's an illusion. And it's quite designed that way to keep us in fear. Because when you've got a population in fear, petrified for their own safety, because it's such a violent world out there, it truly isn't. It truly isn't. Most of the violence out there is in your head. Sure, you can always find violence if that's what you want, but you can always make a decision of avoiding it. So your horrible life is horrible because that's what you've made it. That's what you've created. And it's all very well saying, you know, it's okay for you. You live in a nice area and I've lived in some horrible. There are some, seriously, there are some real poverty areas in the UK where even the group of people that are living together in a rough area, a rough estate, it's called rough. But there is honour amongst thieves. There truly is. And you'll find a lot of the people who are brokers, church mice are absolutely wonderful people anyway. And there's some people with serious amounts of cash in nice houses that would cut your throat and tell you look good in red. If you want to know the serious violence of this world, you can find it in rich areas as well. It's just a little bit more tactical and subtle. They tend to assassinate characters more than the person, which is far more cruel. I remember at school once I was told that there's a kid looking for me. And I wouldn't like to be with you when he gets you. And I avoided going out to the playground for a long time. I avoided going to the youth club. I avoided walking out. I used to get home and shut that door. And I used to dread walking to get the bus to school. And then I used to dread it when I get it. My whole life became a dread. And I was scared of this kid for ages. I'll never forget his name, Stephen Peeling, actually. And I was very young. And I was a prisoner in my own house. Summer holidays came and went, and my parents were concerned that I wasn't going out to play like a normal kid. No, it's okay, I just got a headache. I've always got a headache. Yes, I want to go, I got a headache. Well, all your friends are, I don't want to go. I did everything to avoid this guy. And do you know what? One day I woke up and I thought, I've had enough of this. I can't stand it. And I went round and I found this guy and I confronted him. I said, come on, knocked on his door. His parents answered the door. Yes, I said, is Stephen in? Oh, hello, yeah, oh, come on in. I said, no, it's okay, I just want a quick word with him, do you mind? And I would go and get him. So he came out. I said, Stephen, can I have a word? Yeah, and he was surprised to see me. I said, I understand you've been looking for me. I'm here now. So what is it you want? And do you know, he couldn't have been nicer. I don't care. He was bigger than me, and you know, but I confronted him. And he said, I don't know who gave you the impression I was looking to beat you up, and that I have no gripe with you. And, you know, I'm sorry that that's happened, but no, I don't have a problem with you whatsoever. And that was it. I felt like the world had been lifted off my shoulders, and he and I became good friends, strangely enough. And he was amazed when I told him. He said, well, I thought I hadn't seen you around for a while. I didn't realise it was because it was me that you'd been told. And it was a complete fabrication. And it wrecked my summer holidays, but at the end I got the result I wanted. So look into the things yourself. Find something that's going to make you happy. Be living with someone who's going to appreciate you and the love you give. Okay? And someone who loves you not because of what you look like, but because of what's inside. And don't be scared of anything new. So many people are reluctant to try new things, try new food, go and see a film of a type that you don't normally go to watch, or stop watching those films that you think are good and go to another film. You might be surprised. It was like that in music for me. I used to be heavily into normal music, and then I discovered classical music. I thought, my God, this is fantastic. And then I liked opera for a while. And life is like, as they say, a box of chocolates. And you know, there's lots and lots of different type of people out there. And there's a lot of choice, in the words of Cilla Black. There's a lot of people. But you've got to be happy, because you're here for a short time, this song we call life, and it's a melody. And it's got to be listened to in its entirety. And you perhaps might not like that bit of the melody, but stick with it. Put on your listening ears, listen for the nuances, and stop listening to the gossip. Don't get involved with gossip, and try something new, because there's too much bitterness out there and people looking for one-upmanship. And I tell you what, great people are the ones that make little people feel great. Try something new. Every day in your life, try to do something new or something you hadn't dared do before, because it's all about experience. And do you know what it boils down to? Helping people or animals or the world to be just that little bit better for the ones that are following us. Catch you tomorrow. Take care of you all, and go and love the ones that you love and avoid the ones that are repugnant. That's a good start.